And in the past we did put 18 black seds in this in spray paint, marking up the hardcore in this full of mad monster lies, bogus diagnosis and death threats. This post office did get the biggest black sed in spray paint, painting me very black, serial killer black, beyond recognition. And I was arrested for criminal damage, i.e. a bit graffiti, and again once we marked the hardcore in this, the death threat stopped, the phone calls stopped, all the phone calls from the phone boxes in this, day and night, the written death threats, cutting brake pipes, loosening wheel nuts, almost got me killed, but no Black Panther, serial killer here. So he wanted to push their big hate crime campaign out into the public domain. That did get in the Diss Express. People were asking why there were 18 black seds. Some people were calling me Johnny the Sed Man. Others were saying that I thought I was Sorrow. I do like the Sorrow films when he marks up his adversaries. We just wanted to push it out into the public domain, and everyone who we marked, not one person would press charges for criminal damages. Face me in court with the press there at Thetford and back up all their mad monster, porcupine, paedophile, rapist, ripper, black wizard terrorist, dish shooter, serial killer lies. And again, so I did get arrested for it, got taken to this police station, supposedly for an interview. And as always, no sombre, autonomy of a crime, no woolly hat, serial killer here. And certainly not me leaving the body of a 17-year-old sex trafficked girl on the Royal Sandringham Estate Killenfields. But I did walk right into a big police saw trap, Inspector Numbnuts Bunner, Mr. Fixer, liar, liar, pants on fire. And for 18 black seds in this, marking up the hardcore. They all got an ice cream and a pat on the back, again written death threats full of monster lies. Phone calls day and night, cutting brake pipes, loosening wheel nuts, almost got me killed. And I got maximum security, solitary confinement, forced drugged at the Norfolk Bacon SS Pork Farm, Dr. Death's Black SS Pigsty Maze, which really is full of mad monster lies, bogus diagnosis, lethal injections, a very deadly serial killer virus. And that white car there has got 7 twos on it, 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses. In their precision engineered black box serial killer frame fix assassination, not even Harry Houdini could escape from. Now, I did escape from maximum security in solitary confinement, forced drugged, and they certainly buried me alive down the longest, deepest, darkest, blackest hole where all the monsters are. But no mad monster, serial killer here, Africa, Diss, Norwich and Sandringham, really don't think so. Prince of Darkness, E.T. hybrid host, Red Dragons, their high royal blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder. Certainly not mine, see Prince Harry the Spare for details. So Diss Mason Council, White Lodge, the local mafia, the local mob. Norfolk Cubus, Cobbus, Norfolk Bacon SS, Windsor Gestapos, the local Nazis. And Inspector Numbnuts Bunton raging in my face, we will fix you Botwright, you're dealing with the wrong people. His face was as red as a double-decker bus, a red post box, mad with rage. He could have said, we will frame you Botwright, you're dealing with the wrong people. Or he could have said, we will destroy and annihilate you Botwright, you're dealing with the wrong people. I Diss Mason Council, White Lodge, the local mafia, the local mob, all their cronies, spies and informers. So again, I did walk right into a big police saw trap. and they broke every Home Office guideline for a person under arrest. I was denied a phone call. Solicitor of my choice, Simon Nichols from Belmore Solicitors. I was told that no duty solicitor was available. And again, no Clockwork Orange, Norwich train station, mountain bike rapist here. I was on a woman's black Dutchy bike, not a mountain bike, but all mixed into the black shroud of Sandringham, just to set me up further. And a high royal blue crime, case 39, Dr. Sleep, Jack the Ripper crime. Certainly not mine, Diss Skelton Road assassins. And they fabricated evidence, made evidence disappear, completely perverting the course of justice. Physical assault, false imprisonment, 2 blatant lies from a police inspector, all in the line of duty. So again, we did mark up the hardcore in this. We used a said because I went to Africa because the sword was out. Genocide on the horizon, Rwanda, mass graves you could have put the population of this into. People hiding in mass graves to avoid being massacred. People dancing with fiendish delight in their victims' blood. So I went again to Kenya, Kisumu, Kenya, because the sword was out. Jaffra and his Yardie gang threatening to burn my mother alive in a car the next time they saw her. Real evil saw trap. God confirmed I was to go, and to go urgently, not one single penny from anybody. No sex and donations, no Oxfam sex scandal here. Big black cornerstone that came out of Africa, Kisumu, Kenya, that 7 monster lies, 7 bogus diagnoses are built on. Foundation of monster lies. Again, they want everyone to believe are true, but never the case 39 on all accounts. And again, no Roy White and White Van Man, Christian B, Sandringham serial killer, Black Wizard terrorist, Diss shooter. And standing on the shores of Lake Victoria, which is the size of England, I was watching a big electrical storm over Lake Victoria, which is the size of England. On the other side of Lake Victoria from Kisumu was Rwanda, and the slaughter was relentless. And electrical storms are very impressive in Africa. Sheet lightning, bolt lightning crossing the sky. And as I stood there, the Lord said to me, Johnny, the storm is coming. The sword is out in Africa. The sword is out in the Middle East. The sword is out in the Far East. And the sword is out in Europe. And I know it was the Lord's voice in my spirit, because I could understand the sword being out in Africa. I could understand the sword being out in the Middle East. I could understand the sword being out in the Far East. But I was surprised when the Lord said the sword was out in Europe, because nothing was happening in Europe. And then not long after my return, the Balkans and Bosnia erupted into war. Serbia, and then we had real evil atrocities, mass graves on our own front doorstep, plenty of war crimes from both sides. And there were radar planes up over East Anglia. They were flying bombing missions into Serbia. RAF Mildenhall and Lakenheath, other UK air bases in East Anglia. So there were radar planes up over East Anglia. Once again, the sword is out in Europe, the storm is coming. The sword is out in the Middle East, the sword is out in the Far East, and the sword is out in Africa. And there's also the genocide taking place of Christians in the Middle East and in Africa. So again, a high royal blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September blue murder, certainly not mine. See Prince Harry the spare for details. The word that came off, the royal Sandringham mistake, Killenfields, loud and clear. So again, we're all in the range of war when you least expect it. And the other thing has always been a big omen for me. When I did come out from Africa, this football club, the Tangerines, had won the Vast Cup at Wembley, London, And everyone was in the centre of Diss. Welcome them back. Diss Town Football Club, the Tangerines, again had won the Vast Cup at Wembley. So on the Sunday afternoon, they'd won the Vast Cup on the Saturday. And I was over at the Stag at Thetford with some friends. That was a nice afternoon. People were having picnics. We were walking through the forest. I was still thinking about all the people fleeing for their lives through the forests of Rwanda. There were reports that 125,000 people had become trapped, and the soldiers and the militia were closing in for the kill, for the slaughter. It's claimed around 1 million people massacred, women, children, the elderly. In 100 days in Rwanda, the worst explosion of violence. And again, no Red Carmichael Dunn, Michael Sands, Sutcliffe, Steve Wright, Wayne Cousins, Brady Huntley, Fred West. No Black Wizard here in a Volvo state. We did have a motor mechanic 15 miles from here, Clive Harwood. And again, one big firestorm. One big firestorm coming in more ways than one. Experts do warn us we have entered the perfect storm, financial, natural, solar and war, they call an ET. So again, we did have a motor mechanic 15 miles from here, Clive Harwood, the night crawler, stalker, serial rapist, riding around in a red Volvo estate unchecked for 28 years, abducting women and young girls. So anyhow, we're over at the Stag at Thetford. Everyone was in the centre of Diss. Welcome back, Diss Town Football Club. And then without warning, there was a blinding flash of light. And I've travelled the world in the 7 seas, and I've been in some big storms. I've seen some big storms, but I've never heard such an almighty bang that shook the place. And just for a moment, you could have thought, because you're not far from Mildenhall and Lakenheath, big US air bases, you could have thought that Mildenhall or Lakenheath had been hit with a missile. And then this big electrical storm raged across East Anglia. There were pictures of all the lightning off Yarmouth in the EDP newspaper. And the game of Diss winning the Vast Cup at Wembley had been televised. And just as Diss was going to kick off on the Sunday afternoon, again on the televised game, Tackleston Mast was struck by lightning and all the televisions in Norfolk blacked out. So there's always been lots of talk about war and EMP strikes and cyber warfare, taking down national power grids. So Diss Mason Council, White Lodge, the local mafia, the local mob, but one's also got eye on it. Cansey Granswick Crown Chicken Managers, Garth Scott and Deborah, Tricky Ricky Martin, Big Police SS collaboration. Real cutting room jigsaw trap, certainly get your throat slit like a chicken's neck. Very deadly serial killer bird flu virus in Diss Norfolk UK. Again, they certainly have infected everyone apart from me. And all delivered by Diss Post Office, Royal Mail, Postie Assassins, Vigilantes, Postie Mail. The big super spreader carriers, and they certainly have infected everyone apart from me. So for 18 black Zeds in Diss, more bogus diagnosis than on Jack the Ripper, but certainly no Norfolk Jack the Kipper, Sandringham serial killer, Black Wizard terrorist, Diss shooter, High Royal Blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September Blue murder. Certainly not mine, and not me leaving the body of a 17-year-old sex trafficked gal on the Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, late Prince Philip's favourite hunting area. And Steve Wright Ipswich, 22 miles from here, 5 girls murdered in 10 days. May have been involved in the Ringland murders in Norwich, also 22 miles from here. And in Diss Norfolk UK really is a 22-year catch-22, complete abuse of power, position, authority and influence in public office. And Steve Wright has just also been sentenced to another life sentence. He was already serving a life sentence for the murder of Victoria Hall, a 17-year-old girl who was murdered, found naked in a ditch dating back to 1999. But no Red Car Michael Dunn, Michael Sands, Sutcliffe Steve Wright, Wayne Cousins, Brady Huntley, Fred West. No Roy White and White Van Man, Christian B, Sandringham serial killer here, Black Wizard terrorist, Diss Shooter, really don't think so. And as always, certainly not me leaving the body of a 17-year-old sex trafficked girl on the Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, late Prince Philip's favourite hunting area. See Prince Harry the Spare for details, that is the word that came off the Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, loud and clear. So plenty of high crimes, Jack the Ripper crimes, certainly not mine, castles, manor houses, UK's Devil Island, country estates. And Christian B, he's just been released from prison in Germany, involved in the Madeleine McCann case. It's been going on for over 20 years now. And they certainly will pay to make you disappear. Cruise on my frame fixed tail in Diss Norwich Safewold, North Norfolk coast, Derbyshire in the Lake District. Getting all in the bag. High Royal Blue crime, New Year's Day fine, September Blue murder. Certainly not mine, and there's mentions of other murders in the Epstein files. One that involves Prince Andrew and Epstein, Frogmore Cottage, another young girl. Also talk of two girls who were murdered after rough sex and buried on a golf course. And they're also claiming that a lot of young girls are buried on Epstein's Texas ranch. And it was quite interesting the other day. I made a couple of videos down at Mearsmouth in Diss, and for the first time I've ever seen that, there was a man walking around in a white cowboy hat. So again, there's rumours and claims that there are bodies of young girls buried on Epstein's Texas ranch. So plenty of high crimes, Jack the Ripper crimes, and certainly not mine. And I never had £21,000 to clear my name, not suing anyone, just to clear my name. Mr. Rowland's solicitors in Diss, who later became a judge, good judge of character. Show him all the death threats for a mad monster, paedophile, rapist, ripper, black wizard terrorist, Diss shooter, Porky Pie, serial killer lies. And he said, Johnny, you got a very good case of character assassination. We'll be glad to represent you, help you clear your name, but the only thing is you don't qualify for legal aid. And you'd be looking at least £21,000, and that'd be double or triple that now. Prince Harry in court against the Daily Mail newspaper group, and that's already run up a 40 million court costs, legal fees. So again, trying to clear your name and taking on the corrupt powers to be, setting you up with the biggest monster lies and the biggest bogus diagnosis, and all to cover up their high crimes. Royal Blue murder, certainly not mine. Again, see Prince Harry Potter, Prince of Darkness, E.T. hybrid host, Red Dragon. And Prince Harry, to quote his own words, claims that no one is above the law. Everyone should be accountable and responsible. So certainly not me leaving the body of a 17-year-old sex trafficked girl on the Royal Sandringham Estate, killing fields, late Prince Philip's favourite hunting area. See Prince Harry the Spare for details. And like Pink says, when you're surrounded by bigwig know-it-alls, knobs, dickheads, hags, liars and evil clowns, I'll certainly disappear before they come for me. And certainly no Diss Lawnmower Man here. Again, a rich boy's loft pie, human hunting pie, their high royal blue crime. New Year's Day fines, September blue murder, and certainly not mine. And again, the word that came off the Royal Sandringham Estate killing fields, loud and clear.